let's talk about common errors in sentences. We're going to work correcting the simple sentence. Some common errors when writing simple sentences include fragments and subject-verb agreement. We're going to begin with fragments. As mentioned in previous lessons, a sentence must contain a subject and a verb in order to express a complete thought. A group of words that lacks a subject or a verb is called a fragment. A fragment is an incomplete sentence. Let's look at these examples. The runner, my job, a person. What are these word groups missing in order to be a sentence? A verb. How do we fix these fragments? It's easy, we just add a verb. The runner collapsed. My job ended. A person shouted. Longer fragments. Let's take a look at this other example now. At the finish line, the fastest runner in the New York Marathon. There are more elements here, but there is no action, there's no verb. I still don't know what happened to the runner. So this is also a fragment. Longer fragments can be more difficult to recognize and correct. How do we fix the fragment? We also need to add a verb. At the finish line, the fastest runner in the New York Marathon collapsed. And so we have turned a fragment into a correct sentence. Now let's look at this example. John laughing. What is the problem in this fragment? There's an incomplete verb. Laughing is a verb ending in ing, and it's not a complete verb alone. It needs a helping verb. So how do I correct this? John was laughing. That is a complete verb. Now let's look at another example. Plays football. Runs every morning. Eat at a restaurant. What are these word groups missing in order to be sentences? The subject. How do we fix these fragments? It's easy, we just add a subject. Stuart plays football. My brother runs every morning. Ron and Sue eat at a restaurant. Notice that the first two examples have simple subjects that are composed by only one noun, and the third example, the last example, is made of a compound subject, Ron and Sue. I have two proper nouns, Ron, Sue, and a conjunction, and. So let's take a look at this other example. To practice her dance steps before the regional competition on Friday night. Can you notice a fragment here? There's a long group of words with a lot of information, but there is no subject. We don't know who or what is improving her dance steps. So how do we fix the fragment? We need to add a subject. We also need to adjust the verb so that it is complete and correct. Mary practiced her dance steps before the regional competition on Friday night. Let's take a look at a longer text. The receptionist at that office is not very well trained. She was chewing gum and talking with a coworker at the same time she took my call. Also forgot to take my name. Can you notice a fragment here? This time, the fragment is part of a longer text composed by more than one sentence. It is a little bit trickier to find the fragment. The fragment is in the last piece of the text. Also forgot to take my name. Note that people write these types of fragments because they think that the subject in one sentence will apply to the next word group as well. Let's find the subject in this text. The receptionist. In the second sentence, the receptionist becomes a pronoun, she. And then in the other section of that sentence, it also becomes a pronoun, she. But what happens in the last piece of the text? There is no subject. There is no noun or pronoun. The subject as well as the verb must be in every word group to make a sentence. How do we fix the fragment? We need to add a subject. We don't need to add the receptionist again. We can use a pronoun here. The receptionist at the office is not very well trained. She was chewing gum and talking with a coworker at the same time she took my call. She also forgot to take my name. In that way, we have corrected the fragment, adding a subject in the form of a pronoun. In summary, a grammatically correct sentence must have a subject and a verb, and it must express a complete thought. A complete correct sentence may be very short or quite long. The length of a sentence has nothing to do with its completeness and correctness. These are some hints to correct fragments. Read your sentence out loud. This will help you notice if there is a complete thought or if something is missing. If you think that you have found a fragment, ask yourself, does this contain a subject and a verb and express a complete thought? Now it's time to check your understanding. Please complete the activity in this section and then continue with the next video.